friends, and I'm Sivu Sharma back with another video. This is oblique projection, what I'm discussing. So this is the projectile motion, and this concept is motion under the gravity and oblique projection. So what is a projectile? Basically anything that moves, uh, anything that moves under the influence of gravity. That moves under the influence of gravity, that's called a projectile. Okay, influence of gravity, that's called a projectile. And today we discuss the basic ideas of the projectile motion in very simple manner. All of you have to remember only one equation. I will just explain the projectile motion using this only one equation, ut plus half ut square. And using this equation alone, you can solve the entire projectile motion. And then you can keep differentiating this, and then you can just do this projectile motion just like this. If you have the sequence of steps, I will explain this. What are the sequence of steps you have to remember in order to solve the projectile motion? So what is a projectile? Basically anything that moves under the influence of the gravity, that's called a projectile. And now what is the equation? What you have to remember to solve the projectile motion is S equal to ut plus half ut square. And it's like most of the textbooks, they'll write which equation, where to use, how to use, and all these things, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to confuse any student. It's just one simple matter. This is the only equation. If you just remember, that will be done. But only thing is, when you have the projectile motion, the thing is that the x component as well as y component, they'll be treated individually. The x component of velocity does not depend upon the y component of velocity. The x component of acceleration does not depend upon the y component of acceleration. The x component of the things can be studied individually. Y component of the things can be studied individually. X direction and y direction you can study individually. That is the idea. So they doesn't depend upon each other, but you can bring out the relation between those two. And now when the projectile is going like this with an initial velocity u, the initial velocity can be resolved in two components. We can write the initial velocity u bar as ux I cap and ui j cap. So where ux is the velocity in the x direction, ui is the velocity in the y direction, and the projectile is projected at an angle theta. And it follows the path of parabola. You all know that very well. And now the thing is that how to solve this projectile motion, very simple steps. That is what I am going to discuss. And now all of you know this, and this is the theta is the angle of projection, and you can resolve this into components. U bar can be written as u cos theta into I cap plus u sin theta j cap. I hope you know how to resolve the components. Resolving components, I have discussed different cases in the vectors. Please go through that video. And now here, this is the angle. This is the angle theta. The line which is attached to theta will be cosine. So ux is equal to u cos theta. This is how you can do. And the line which is away from theta, that is ui is equal to u sin theta. This is how you can resolve into components. First resolving the components is done. And now when the projectile is going, the acceleration in the x direction is equal to 0. Acceleration in the y direction, that is the gravitational motion, that is the gravity, the acceleration due to gravity, that will be acting vertically downwards. So that is minus g. So ay is equal to minus g. So that's how the perpendicular accelerations are perpendicular to each other, ax and ay. So the x component of acceleration is 0. There is no acceleration in the x direction. And this is a ground to ground projection. What I'm going to talk is ground to ground projection. Ground to ground projection. So this condition, we are going to solve the problem for this condition, ground to ground projection. So this is the basic to start with. And now we have to define the position vectors of at each point, a general point P, we need to define the position vector. And differentiating the position vector, you get everything. That is a basic idea what we have. And now the position vector at any point P, how do I find? So it is given by like this. So I want the position vector at any point P, that is nothing but xi cap plus yj cap. So the position vector, what is the x displacement in x direction? What is the y displacement in y direction? This is what I want to do. The x displacement x direction is nothing but I want you to remember only one equation is equal to ut plus half at square. This is the only equation I want you to remember. And now x displacement x is equal to s is equal to ux times t plus half ax t square. Right. So half ax t square is what you have. Ax is equal to 0. I told you the horizontal direction, you don't have any acceleration in the horizontal direction because gravity will not act horizontally, it will act only vertically. So ax equal to 0. So ux times t is what you have. Let's keep like this. But you have another part also, u cos theta times t square. You can keep like this. U cos theta times t, sorry. And now we need the displacement in the y direction. So that will be like y is equal to, what is the velocity in the y direction? That is u sine theta. Right, u sine theta times t minus half gt square. Why minus half gt square is because ay, this is the equation you have to remember. So sy is equal to uy plus half a by t square. Ay is minus g. Minus g and uy is u sine theta. So this is how you have the displacement in the y direction. So u sine theta t minus half gt square. So you have the position vector r bar at any point t after a time of t. So this is the position vector of any point t after a time of t. So I'll write that statement. So it happens to be u cos theta times t, right? I cap, that is x. And the y part is happens to be u sine theta t, u sine theta t minus half gt square. This is what you have in the y direction. This is the displacement in y direction. Now you got the position vector of the point t. This is the actually the position vector of the point t at any time t, at any given time t, any given time t. So once we generated the position vector is a variable vector. So it varies with the time t, right? It's a variable vector which varies with the time t. Variable vector which varies with time t, right? Varies with time t. Now the thing is that you had to take a differential of this to get the velocity in x direction and velocity in y direction. Very simple. Now we have this. Let us keep this r bar. R bar happens to be u cos theta t into I cap plus u sine theta t minus half gt square multiplied by j cap. So this is what you have. And then if I find what is dr bar by dt, that is a velocity vector at any time t for the projectile. Velocity vector at any time t for the projectile is given by, so when you differentiate this, u cos theta for a given angle theta, of projection theta, you have the sine theta and cos theta are constants. Okay, sine theta and cos theta are constant. So velocity of the projectile at any time t is given by the equation u cos theta times I cap, plus you can differentiate this and see that becomes u sine theta minus gt. This is what you get. JK. So this is my the velocity vector in x direction plus velocity vector in the y direction. This is what we have. And once you have generated this, 90% of the problems can be solved if you have this velocity vector in hand. I'll discuss some of the problems here. Now, the first funda what we have to see here is the u cos theta part is a constant, does not depend upon time. So it says that the horizontal component of velocity throughout the projectile motion is not going to change. So you can observe that Vx is equal to u cos theta is a constant. So this is a constant. So it says that the velocity vector, the velocity component, I would say, velocity component in the x direction, is not going to change with time, right? Not going to change with time. So again, once again, I write velocity vector at any time t is given by u cos theta times I cap plus u sin theta minus gt. This is how we write. And now the crux of solving the next part is that what we have to find is the points like time of ascent, time of descent, and time of flight. So to find the maximum height, So I want to find the maximum height. So maximum height means it's a function of y. So y displacement is given by, so u sine theta t minus half gt square. Right. When you say you want to find maximum, you set the derivative to 0. So in order to find the maximum or minimum quantity, you set the derivative to 0. When you set it to 0, you will get a situation. This derivative goes to 0 at t is equal to ta. That is at the time of ascent, it goes to 0. So when I take the derivative happens to be u sine theta minus gt. I would say ta, where ta is the time of ascent. At this point, it goes to 0. At this time, it goes to 0. So that is nothing but the velocity in the y direction is equal to 0 at maximum height. So this is the concept. So if you have seen the velocity vector, this is what the y component is at the maximum height. Right? At the maximum height, this is what happens. So Ta happens to be u sine theta divided by g. So this is what is time of ascent. You got the time of ascent. After that, you plug in this time of ascent in this equation. So if t is equal to ta, what happens? Y becomes h max. The y displacement becomes the maximum height. So this is how we solve the problem. So here you have h is equal to finally h max, y equal to h max when t is equal to ta. So that is u sine theta, right, into ta minus half g ta square. So at t equal to ta, I substituted y is equal to h max. This is the substitution what I did, and t is equal to time is equal to ta. In the equation, y is equal to u sine theta t minus half gt square. This is what I did. Now in this t equal to ta is substituted and y equal to h max, and the ta, the value of time of ascent is nothing but u sine theta divided by g. So what is time of ascent? Basically, time of ascent is the time it took to reach the maximum height. Time it refers to the projectile. Okay, projectile took to reach the maximum height. Reach the maximum height. what is called time of ascent. So that I substituted here. So what I get is H max over here, that is u sine theta, that is multiplied by TA, that is u sine theta by g, minus half g. TA square happens to be u square sine square theta divided by g square. So this one and this one gets cancelled. So you got u square sine square theta divided by g minus u square sine square theta divided by 2g is what you have. And then with this minus this happens to be u square sine square theta divided by 2g. This will be the equation of the maximum height. But we know that ui is nothing but u sine theta, right? So you get the h max like this also, ui square by 2g. This is the another way of remembering this. This is also very, very useful. So I'll write the equations like this. H max, this is how you can remember. It's nothing but uy square by 2g, like this. So what is the velocity in the y direction? Multiply, square it and divide it with the 2 times gravity. This is what you get. So velocity in the y direction is u sine theta for u. So you get u square sine square theta divided by 2g. So that is the equation of the h max. That is the maximum height. And then another equation what we got is time of ascent, which is u sine theta divided by g. So this is nothing but you can remember it as uy by g. Right. So this is how you can remember. Fine. So what else? How do you connect the time of ascent with this h max? You can clearly see that uy by g is nothing but ta. So h max. So let's write this uy by g as one part, and then you have uy by 2. Right. If you write like this uy by g is your time of ascent. So uy by 2 times ta. So how the question can arise, like if you have the time of ascent, so you don't need to give the time of ascent once you have these things. If you have the time of ascent given, and if you are given the what is the velocity vector, something like ux I cap plus uy j cap, like this form, if you give, and how do you calculate is like this. You don't have to even give this actually. Generally, they don't make the problem. If they want to confuse you, they literally give you this problem. But they don't need to give you this. If they give you the velocity vector, that is more than sufficient. That will help you to solve the problem. So because if you given u bar is nothing but ux I cap and ui j cap, then it's simply ui square by 2g, you got the h max, and ui by g, you got the time of ascent. So that's pretty simple right now. We have done the h max, maximum height. Now the second part is we have this x is equal to what is the equation of the projectile motion, and x is equal to u cos theta times t. This is what we have in hand, and y is equal to u sine theta t minus half gt square. This is the equation you have. So we substitute t is equal to x by u cos theta from this equation. U cos theta we transport to the other side like this. So t is equal to x by u cos theta, and then you substitute here the time here and these positions. You end up with y is equal to u sine theta multiplied by x by u cos theta minus half g into x square by u square cos square theta. So once you cut this u and the sine theta by cos theta is tan theta, you will end up with an equation y is equal to x tan theta minus gx square by, all of you have to remember this equation, 2u square cos square theta. So this is one very important equation. This is the equation of the trajectory of the projectile. And now it's a parabola. It follows the path of parabola. And since the square term is negative, So it's a downward parabola. In fact, it's a downward. It's a downward parabola because of the reason that the square term is negative here. So that is called leading term. If the leading coefficient is negative, it's called leading coefficient. So square term is called a leading coefficient. If the leading coefficient is negative, it's called leading term. Right? If the leading term is negative, you are going to end up with a downward parabola. So like this, like that. So this tells us that the projectile motion, what you are going to get is a downward parabola. Okay, that's clear. Now the next part, let us study. So this is the equation of the projectile motion. Next one is what we have to calculate is the time of flight. So in order to calculate the time of flight is the next calculation. So to calculate time of flight, it has gone like this and then it is ending up like this on the ground. So finally the y displacement is 0. When it completes the journey, when projectile completes journey, the y displacement is 0. So this is what you have. And then y is equal to u sine theta t minus half gt square. This is what you have. At t is equal to ta, sorry, time of flight tf, y is equal to 0. So when you plug in these conditions, you get the time of flight. So it is 0 is equal to u sine theta times tf minus half g tf square. That's what you have. And now from this tf, the time of flight, you can calculate as 2u sine theta by g. Fine. Now after calculating time of flight, we need to calculate the range of the projectile. And now range happens to be the velocity in the x direction multiplied by time of flight. So velocity in the x direction is u cos theta, that is multiplied by time of flight, that is 2u sin theta by g. So 2 sin theta cos theta happens to be sin 2 theta, so it becomes u square sin 2 theta by g. So this is how you calculate the range of the projectile. At this point, I'm stopping the video because the video is becoming too lengthy. So in the next part, I will discuss some more things about the projectile motion. I hope you like the video and thank you all for watching the video. And please do like, share, subscribe. Thank you all.